breaking news. The Epstein list will drop tomorrow, says Pam Bondi. We got the tweet from Nick Sorter.
Wow.
Breaking news on Jesse Waters. He's live right now, right? Is that when he's live?
Yeah.
Right now.
So basically, we just sit back and wait for him to break the news for us. Jesse, what are you doing? It was funny because a couple weeks ago, I went on his show instead of being here. Here's the clip. Roll tape.
Have the Epstein files on your desk. Is when can we see them, and what's taking so long to release them?
I do. Jesse, there are well over, this will make you sick, 200 victims.
Whoa.
200. So we have, well over 250 actually.
Whoa.
So we have to make sure that their identity is protected and their personal information. But other than that, I think tomorrow, the personal information of victims. Other than that, I think tomorrow, Jesse, breaking news right now, you're going to see some Epstein information being released.
Okay, so maybe not the
by
whole
my
Epstein
office.
list.
What kind? Are we going to see who was on the flights? Are we going to see any evidence from what he recorded? Because he had all of his homes wired with recording devices.
Yeah, what you're going to see, hopefully tomorrow, is a lot of flight logs, a lot of names, a lot of information. But,
Partial client list.
It's pretty sick what that man did.
Oh, so it looks like we'll be getting a partial client list, some information.
Yeah.
See, this is what we were talking about the other day because people kept saying, why aren't they releasing the information? And what I said at first, if there's information in the Epstein files that pertains to an ongoing investigation that is ancillary to the Epstein flight logs and what Epstein was doing, you don't want to compromise those investigations. Like imagine Trump gets in. I trust that Trump and more so Cash and Dan, I think Trump's focused on a lot of other things, are going to be looking at who these people were. So you may have with these documents, they go through them and they're like, hey, look, this pharmaceutical exec or this, international whatever are implicated in this. And it seems to be there's evidence that they're still running operations. If we publish this information, they go underground. And then we give away all this information, then everything. So we can't do that. That's why it's not so easy. The question is, do you trust the existing law enforcement apparatus? Under Biden, of course, no, I didn't. And honestly, under the first Trump administration, no way. They were working against them the whole time. Now I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
The victims thing is the easiest to understand. And this has already been said ad nauseum for a decade. When people were talking about the documents that got released in Virginia Giuffre and all that stuff, the hardest thing to get past is there are innocent victims of Epstein whose names are in those files. And they've got to go through them and redact that and figure out who and when and how and maybe some people don't mind it. There's a lot to go through, man. But I still think the challenge we face is I don't know that for the sake of those victims, the world should not get the information on who is working with Epstein.
Yeah.
Because those people may still be working and we should know about it.
Yeah, this is totally just for my own personal opinion. Like, I would love to. I want to see this come out just so that way both the left and the right can stop saying, "Oh, your guy's on the list, and your guy's on the list, and your guy's on the list, and your guy's on the list." Put it out so we know. And if there is anybody that has broken the law or that's implicated, fine.
They don't get it. Like, I see these liberals being like, oh, yeah, Trump's on the flight logs. I'm like, yep, publish it. Yeah, I don't think you get it. We want all of it published. I don't care if Trump's on it, RFK Jr.'s on it, and Tulsi Gabbard are all on it, having a party together. Publish all of it, and we'll figure out after the fact. And that being said, isn't RFK Jr. on it too?
Yeah, I mean,
I'm on the flight logs, not the client list.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We interviewed him, and he said something like, at the time, I didn't know, and I was with my family or whatever. As Trump appears on the flight logs, my understanding is it's largely with his family, and the same thing with RFK Jr. If I'm not mistaken.
That's what he said. Yeah, I remember.
I don't care all that much. Like if Trump, Ivanka, and Ivana and whoever else were flying on the plane with Epstein, I'm like, my question is, what did you know about this guy? Why didn't anything get done about it? I want to know who the clients are. I want to know who's going to the island, Prince Andrew and stuff like that. Yeah. The flight logs are important too. It's evidence to that. But just because someone flew on a plane with a wealthy guy who flew across the country all the time doesn't mean they're involved in anything. Certainly is evidence, to be honest.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that are, that have gone to Epstein's island, but there's no evidence that they did anything actually wrong.
Yeah, but I don't care.
Yeah, but if they were,
If you went to the island,
yeah, if you went to the island,
The island's pretty damning.
But like in RFK's case, I mean, he says he didn't go to the island; he flew on it with his family. And Trump, I think it was a similar thing where he said, "Oh, my plane, I didn't have it, or it was getting serviced, or whatever, so I flew down." So I think the context of like where they went on that plane, and also the quantity, like did you fly 3 or 4 times, or did you fly like 45 times, indicating that you probably had like a deeper relationship there, and a lot of things were going on. So I think that's what we need to know. And then also, I don't know if we're going to get this, but some information on like Epstein's like finances, like nobody knows to this day like how he kind of made his money, and like who was doing business with him, and like things like Bill Gates like could be directly involved and implicated, and other people.
He was an asset for. I mean, there's rumors that he was an asset for Israel, and obviously I have no evidence of that or anything like that. But there's rumors that he was an asset for some intelligence group or intelligence organization. I heard people say that it was MI6, and that he was involved with British, and I've heard people say Israel. These are all just rumors.
I know, but Dan Bongino came on Timcast IRL and said
that's right,
he was an intelligence asset for some Middle Eastern country, and everybody was like, "Oh, come on, bro."
I mean,
like there's one country that comes to mind when you think of intelligence agency.
Yeah.
It's not Saudi Arabia. It's not Qatar. Okay, I know all of those Jews people are screaming. Yes, people believe that Epstein may have been involved with Mossad and Israel. We don't know. But if they start dropping this information, we're going to start to figure out who he was working with. And maybe Dan didn't literally mean Israel, but everybody's brain went there.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure what's going. Serge is over here laughing at the chat, and I gotta bring this up. I gotta see what's going on. You know what it is. You know what it is. You know what they're saying.
Wow, I mean, I do think public pressure has a lot to do with why we're getting this information now. To be fair, Pam Bondi didn't need to go on TV in the first place and say the Epstein client list is sitting on my desk.
She said that like a couple of days ago, and then like they've been on her since. I mean, there's been a lot of heat on her since that time. Like, okay, well then put it out. Like, this is what people want. They want this stuff to be out there, and they want to know the connections. And I think people believe, just like they believe things about Kennedy or whatever, those things that have come out over the last year or so about the U.S. government being involved in that. They want to know about Epstein and who was involved with him, CIA, Mossad, MI6, anybody and everybody. We need the information because the guy pops out of nowhere and has millions of dollars and is getting all these rich people to give him their assets. And so it's just we need the truth, and hopefully Bondi has that.
But you know what I really can't believe in all of this? It's that Pam Bondi's 60 years old. You guys know that?
No.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Really?
Look at she's 60.
She's looking good.
Good for her.
Wow.
Good for her.
When they I don't
She's had some work to, but that's okay. That's good.
Oh, is that it?
Well, she has, but it's okay.
You think Jesse has too? Look at Jesse. I don't know. Look at that face. Jesse.
Some Botox injections there. Some Botox injections.
Yeah, I don't know. Wow. This is are we winning too much? Is this too much?
No,
We'll find out. We'll find out what happens when the Epstein things come out. We could be winning into hyperdrive. No,
There's no such thing as winning too
we
much.
can't get tired of winning.
We were so far behind, considering how deeply corrupt things like USAID was, and how they had their hands in so many different countries. The overthrow of what we would think would be Western or countries that were friendly to Western. It made sense when it was communist countries that the CIA was targeting, essentially. State Department, CIA, using USAID, etc. It made sense. The argument made sense. Fine. But when it's like just, okay, these countries that are having a democratic election, we don't like the guy that might be coming in because he's too right wing. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's beyond the pale, and that kind of stuff. The United States shouldn't have any. There's no reason for the U.S. to do that, because the left had taken control, or however you want to say, they'd gotten into positions of power in the establishment so deeply that they really were saying, okay, if you don't align with the gay communist takeover, then we're going to go ahead and make sure that you don't win the election of your country. And
another reason why I'm excited for Hegseth.
Pete
Hegseth.
Yeah,
he's doing a great job. I'm loving these videos, man. How he was doing PT with some troops or whatever. I'm not hyper focused on it, but it looks like he's actually. The criticism I've heard from a lot of people who've served is that the military is very deeply bureaucratic, and illogical. Like the path forward in advancing your career is largely political. And it looks like Pete Hegseth is returning it back to a core meritocratic system. And he's treating our troops and our enlisted guys like they're people.
Yeah.
It just looks great. And enlistment is way up.
Yep.
Yep.
The moment Trump gets in, he's like, no more woke military. People were like, thank you. I'd like to come back. You know,
Yeah.
that's great.
And he said he wanted to cut 40% of the Pentagon budget, something like that. And listen, we need an audit of the Pentagon. You know, we haven't had a past audit of the Pentagon in a very long time. And
Marine Corps passes all the
yeah,
time.
Yeah, Marine Corps passed it. Pentagon doesn't pass it. 2001, a couple days before 9/11, they failed an audit. Just saying. And I think Pete Hegseth is making a name for himself, Tim. I think maybe 2028, if the field is open, you know, Trump didn't name the person. I bet you Hegseth might be like a dark horse to be like the president in 2028,
Hegseth
a
v.
contender.
Newsom.
Hegseth, I think, would do really well. I mean, I think he's making a name for himself. I don't think people are talking about that, but Hegseth 28 could be a thing, you know?
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.